at that time, when we were building it, thought, okay, we'll build few teams and see how it goes. But today we have the largest actuarial setup in the country. Sometimes I see that GCCs can be single functional. Yeah. So either they are a tech center or they're an ops center. In our case, we evolved into operations, business, and technology. And then it was a sponsorship across the spectrum of the Global Executive Committee, which also then means it's an enterprise location. It's not just solo functional or so, which means the opportunities that we have to connect the dots, to look at the value chain end to end, and really create that impact, which is in line with the strategy of the company, makes it easier.
Welcome to GCC Unplugged, where real leaders share raw insights. And I have with me someone today who has seen it from building capabilities to breakthroughs. I have with me Amit Kalra, Managing Director and Head of Swiss Re Global Business Solutions. And under his leadership, this arm of Swiss Re has grown from a humble back office to a bold, future-facing organization. Thank you, Amit, for joining us today. And I'm sure that you're a relieved man this year at least. RCB has won. You're a cricket fan. How is it? How does it feel?
Yeah, firstly, thanks a lot, sir, for having me on this show, and thanks for your kind words. No, I felt really happy. The 18-year Tom failed.
Must be difficult.
Yeah, but we are resilient as a city and, of course, as RZP fans. So really happy with the outcome.
Yes, of course. We all are, because King Kohli got finally a cup which was eluding them for a long, long time. All right. So let's come back to Swiss Re and let's start at the beginning. What drew you to Swiss Re and more specifically to the India operations?
Yeah. So Swiss Re is one of the world's largest reinsurance company. So we have 160-year plus history. So we are into commercial insurance, reinsurance, and reinsurance in simple word is insuring the risk of insurance. Yeah, so it's more at the B2B level. The setup that we have in India is almost like the entire microcosm of Swiss Re Group. Next year we'll be celebrating 25 years of our presence. And now we have offices in Bangalore, Hyderabad. It has all, as I said, it's a microcosm. It has all business function, ops, tax. In the external world we call it GCC.
Yeah,
but internally we call it as Swiss Re. Yeah,
I understand you. But GCC is the key word right now. Yeah. So tell us about your journey personally. As you said that 25 years you've been here and started as a back officer, as you said. And as I was mentioning to you, as you go outside, what's happening inside GCCs, little is known to people outside the industrial area. So, and you've been part of some transformational years here. How has it been for you personally?
Yeah. So I'm a business economist by background. I joined Swiss Re in 2007 to set up economic research consulting team. Since then, it has been a fantastic journey for me in the company. So moved into analytics, actuarial, strategy, innovation, GCC head, and in my most recent role, I had GBS, which also looks after the GCCs in both India, Slovakia, but then I also had some of the Swiss Re's corporate functions globally. In 25 years, it's been a fascinating journey. Of course, it started as more of a back office, shared service center. One thing which we always wanted to do was keep on evolving the capabilities here, right? So it has moved from shared center to operations center, from operations to business center, and now we are just any other global location, right? So when I say growth, sometimes in GCC world, growth is always FTEs, like employees. I think growth needs to be relooked, needs to be redefined. Growth is capability, the business impact that they create. Growth is also the personal journey of all the employees who are, how they are actually able to play global roles by being part of India and in a globally integrated setup. So that's how the journey has been.
Right. So, Peter, you just mentioned about the journey and began as a shared services and, now become a full-fledged innovation and tech hub. What what were some of the key pivot points along the way, if you can tell me, where it really changed the way you function here, yeah?
Yeah. So historically, when we were like a shared setup, it used to be, I would say, internal managed service outsourcing more, right? I mean, the entities of India and global used to be very different.
Right.
So I think biggest change point was for us in 2017, yeah, when we said, hey, we will moving to a functionally integrated model. So all the teams that we have are fully functionally embedded into the global function. So this also means that it's one team, it's one mindset, one culture, and one goals to pursue. There's no distinction what India is trying to do to what the group is trying to do. So that I would say is a fundamental thing. Yeah. The second thing is the entire executive sponsorship and the scope. So sometimes I see that GCCs can be single functional. Yeah. So either they are a tech center or they're an ops center. In our case, we evolved into operations, business, and technology. And then it was a sponsorship across the spectrum of the Global Executive Committee, which also then means it's an enterprise location. It's not just solo functional or so, which means the opportunities that we have to connect the dots, to look at the value chain end to end, and really create that impact, which is in line with the strategy of the company, makes it easier. Yeah, of course we have miles to go, but at least we have when you talk about a recipe, we have all the ingredients that now we just have to ensure we prepare well, right, for the future.
Yeah, that's great because, earlier it used to be said that there is no decision making here or you. It was so integrated.
Yeah.
Even I saw the office when I walked in here. I mean, it looks like such a brilliant, good office. I mean, I'm sure the employees do feel like being at the headquarters. Probably it's that sort of a setup. Uh, you know, uh, in this journey that you just mentioned, when was it? When was it when you started owning global mandates, especially say around tech, underwriting, risk, because these are core to Swiss Re, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. So tech is actually a relatively new story for us within the office, right? So, and while of course we built up first of the technology teams nearly 10 years ago, but the real build up of capabilities happened over the last 3-4 years when we started looking at internalization and the global scape, where we looked at significant potential which exists in a large scale engineering talent pool that we have in India. And with data and tech is like one of the key strategic priorities for the group, we made very conscious choice to build the engineering and innovation capabilities in the location. And as we were doing, we also then leapfrogged. So we don't have to go through the journey how it was 5, 10, 15 years ago. But since we've had a lot of experiences, and we said, hey, let's look at in a very strategic manner, in a much more structured manner. Let's try to break the glass ceilings. So, generally you look at the population pyramid. So we call it talent pyramid. So instead of doing a horizontal cut, which is junior roles, we did a lateral cut to also then bring adequate seniority as we were building our technology teams. So which meant the glass ceilings were broken. So also a lot of global roles with ownership started moving here, and we also got the right talent, and we also developed a lot of our internal talent who also took on these responsibilities. So for us, in last 3-4 years, the growth not just happened in numbers, but then ownership, capabilities, especially on the technology area. Then on the other business functions, I think it's a natural evolution, right? Because we really need people who understand the company, who understand the global market landscape, and then demonstrate ownership. And that's when the rules started emerging, more at the senior.
Right. Let's stick with technology for a bit. You said that it's a recent play. Um, uh, so it's good actually because when you started, probably AI was already there. So, how is AI showing up in, the day-to-day operations, especially, are we only talking about automation right now, or has it moved into decision making or prediction, which is key to year of a role?
Yeah, I have to share something interesting. And so our business model is quite unique, and I can say this for insurance, reinsurance. Uh, we sell a product for a solution for which we don't exactly know how much it will cost. We only estimate it. So technically, for last we do it. So for last 160 years, we've been coming up with the estimation. So we've been doing analytics. We've been handling data all through this, right? So the technology kept on changing. And now with AI coming in, I personally believe it's going to be a transformation, right? And you can look at AI in multiple dimensions. So firstly, it's a personal productivity. Yeah. So we did a full rollout to all the employees within Swisstrix, so anyone can subscribe to Copilot and improve their own personal productivity. And I'm sure you will also relate how AI benefits, right? The second is more from operational efficiency, yeah, because when you look at the end-to-end processes, they're not always streamlined. They get split into certain fragments. There are opportunities to optimize. So if you start looking at the operational process end-to-end, you can have the possibility to deploy more AI agents, agentic AI, right, to really automate certain process flow, which creates a lot of efficiency. It also helps improve quality, reduces turnaround time, etc., etc. Yes, so that's where I think that automation angle comes into the picture. But the biggest opportunity that we see in our business model is more on how AI can enable decision making. How can actually we improve risk insights? Because now you have the opportunity to look at internal data, external data, structured data, unstructured data, and do a real-time analysis. And the quality of the business we underwrite is also dependent on the quality of insights that we can generate with human in loop. I think that is also important, because if everything is automated and it's the judgment part just totally goes off. So there we see significant opportunities, and there we are in the process of really looking at what are those priorities, focus areas. There's a lot of proof of concepts which are already happening in the companies, but that's going to be a major disruption or a game changer to our perspective.
So you've already talked about it, but I will like to stick with this point a little further.
Sure.
And you've talked about AI in claims, risk modeling, and even pricing. So if you can, tell us about one particular application that really excites you, which you think has been a kind of a game changer for the space. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I would say these are more right now embedded in our processes, because for us, we are in a B2B play. Right? So how do we ensure more value for our end clients? Now, on the claim side, we also have our own AI enabled engagement. We call it claims frame, right? So when the claims adjuster is looking at the various claims which have come, there's usually investigation, turnaround time associated. And the more time it takes, then there is a delay in triggering payment from our side to our clients. Now, what we have done is that we have embedded AI into that process, which actually reduces that entire process time to analyze this by 40%. So which means much faster analysis, much faster payouts. And that's what the purpose of our organization is here, to create resilience, so that we can actually give the claims payment at the earliest. It creates value for our clients, which eventually goes to the insured. So this is one example. Another example I will talk is more on the like and side. But so we have like a solution which we offer to insurance companies. It's like a underwriting enablement. It's called Life Guide. So it's underwriting framework basis which life risk are underwritten. So we have embedded AI into that. So now in our client side, anyone who, instead of scanning through multiple documents, they just need to type through in the chat GPT style and get the relevant information. So again, it improves the response time on the underwriters. Instead of waiting for days, you can have much faster decision making on the underwriting side.
It becomes all the more important with the kind of changes we're seeing in the real world with the, you know, climate changes and natural disasters and all those things. The decision making has to be more, you know, faster and proactive, I guess. Great. So, you know, we move to something else in terms of your collaboration. So, you've taken a very unusual route for an reinsurer, which is to work with startups, and you have, you know, work with through accelerators and even fitness tech partnerships. If I'm not wrong, GoQ or some of them. So, what's the real funda behind this?
Yeah, so it was a bit few years back we initiated this, right? So there was a time when we were looking at, uh, just let's attend certain themes and the topics. This happened actually way back in 2016, 17, where we were exploring innovation ideas, and we launched our own startup accelerator in India. So that was Swiss Re's first and only own accelerator, but at the same time when we were also participating in other accelerators at that time. And we engaged with multiple startups. We got into real business traction, yeah, the one you described, as well as a couple of more across the world. And that really exposes to, I would say a win-win proposition for both the startup who can get a better understanding of how a global reinsurer thinks about risk and how they can be managed, and for us to understand how startup pivots the model and how quickly we are able to come up with a tech-enabled solution. And some of these were quite innovative. However, we pivoted around that. We moved into more of open innovation thing, where we said, hey, it all depends on the business case first, right? So instead of just looking at let thousand flies blue, let's have a much more focused approach on innovation. So what is that top few business topics which will create a significant impact on our business, either on the revenue side or on our bottom line, or managing the risk in a much more effective way, right? And for us now, we are pretty neutral, whether the solution is coming from a large scale tech company or some other partner or a startup. So we have got into a bit more open focus, broad focus, because what is my biggest objective? To ensure my business challenge gets addressed or an opportunity gets managed and seized.
Okay. So, any of these collaboration, did it lead to any other product development stage, or
Yeah.
did it?
So that time, I think this partnership that we talked about with Koki and all, it enabled an actual product in the Indian market, right? And then with another startup, it was more at the global scale to look at mental wellness, and how do we embed in our existing products.
So, great. Cool. So let's move to something different, which is key to uh, global capability centers. That's done. That's why we are all, apart from cost arbitrage, obviously. So, and now for Swiss Re, I mean, India is home to, you know, a large part of its tech talent, which it has. So, how are you thinking about developing this talent and the next generation skill building right here in India?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, so I think that's like the most critical topic we all are trying to address. So on one side we have large scale talent base available, right? But we want to ensure they are fit for purpose, right? And we look at multiple dimensions. So firstly, I think it's more about the domain understanding. So because you can easily find lots of tech engineers, people with a lot of technical experience, skill sets, but for them to be most effective and impactful, they need to understand the business dynamics, right? So the integration of the slash insurance and technology and looking at data and coming up with insights and having the right behaviors is super critical, right? So for us, a lot of time and effort also goes in developing that. And it's not just through trainings, but it is actually exposure. You engaging them in some of the global project initiatives, and that really helps them to see, okay, how can I create much more value to the business? How do I actually meet the global indicators, KPIs, in a better manner? But if we look at our leadership talent, right, because for us, the next evolution cycle, which I started, as I was saying, we look at our setup as just another global location, which also means that how do we build the leadership talent pool? And leadership is not just general match. Where leadership is thought leadership, content leadership. What is the topic which I'm accountable for at the group level, and I'm owning it up and delivering, right? And for that, people need to really enhance, sharpen multiple dimensions, right? So one is execution rigor, but then it's also strategic thinking, influencing, and how do we ensure people develop on all these topics for which we had a lot of interventions both at the global level and local level. And for people more at the junior level or like fresh intake that we also have from the universities, then of course, it's more structured learning paths that we create. But it is not just technology. Yeah. So one of the things, since you're also very interested on the business side, so when we started building our actuarial capabilities,
which is a niche, very niche capability in India, at least as of now.
yeah. So at that time, when we were building it, thought, okay, we'll build few teams and see how it goes. But today we have the largest actuarial setup in the country, which is also a thing of pride, but then also it just demonstrates that talent pool is global or can be developed at the global scale, right? And there we have very structured actuarial development plans where people enroll for the examination, they get opportunities to work on a few projects, assignments, to have a well-rounded development. So that is just another example.
Right. You touched upon two very crucial things. One is global exposure for the entire staff member, because that gives them more ownership, more, they feel more, excited about, working. And then obviously India needs to create that leadership funnel if we have to have more say in the day-to-day enterprise decisions and all. Uh, you've also partnered with academia and and social innovators through initiatives like Shine India. So, what does that talk you about? Nurturing this future fit capabilities or talent, as guys we say.
Yeah. No, so Shine is a very interesting program, which we actually piloted in India in 2018. And since then, it has become a global program for Swiss Re.
Oh,
So it gets
so something again which is from India, apart from tech and
exactly.
capability.
So this is another innovation, we call it, at the global level. So what we do is we give non-equity grant of to social entrepreneur. So firstly, we identify a social entrepreneur on certain themes like climate change, renewables, agriculture. And then what we also do is we bring our own team of 7 to 8 colleagues, which is also a leadership journey for them. So we get the social entrepreneur who's fairly at relatively young in the evolution series. They can be very seasoned individually, and 7, 8 colleagues jointly identify a problem statement which is being addressed by that social entrepreneur. And then our colleagues are also providing their own individual skills. So someone is a project manager, someone brings a financial expertise, someone has a deep understanding on certain topics which can be relevant to that social entrepreneur. But they work on one common topic. And then on a milestone basis, how that topic is getting addressed, we release additional non-equity grants to them. So what really helps is that we are able to create a social impact. Right. And I always believe that you need to have some incentives for social impact. It cannot be just pure charity. It has to have an ROI angle plus social impact. So it helps the social entrepreneur through this funding, but they also get a lot of value from the skill sets and the capability, because usually they're short staffed with 2-3 people,
Right.
and we provide a seasoned team. And what our colleagues get is the exposure.
Right.
So they get in the shoes of an entrepreneur, right? So how do you really come up with the right balance here? And you cannot just solely think of commercial. You have to think of commercial, but also impact.
Right.
You have to address challenges with constraints. So those kind of learnings are exceptional. Right. And we've been running this program for last, as I said, since 2018. So that has worked really well. But in addition to that, we also do a lot of academic partnerships, as you said, and for us, it's also an opportunity to give it back to the society. On one side, we also realize the concepts of reinsurance are not fully understood, right? So, because a lot of time people will say, hey, do you sell insurance products? I used to get those comments.
It's such a deep area where, not many people would really understand.
Yeah, but we are like the backbone, yeah, the insurance industry, right? So that's how it happens. So then we have partnerships with IIR, based out of Hyderabad, Birla Institute of Technology in NCR, Rouge. And we offer reinsurance certified courses where some of our experts become guest faculty, deliver those lessons. So that raises the awareness, the global thought leadership of some of the students who then understand the insurance as a topic holistically, yeah, including reinsurance. So yeah, that's like a good win-win
Right.
for the.
No, I saw some plans when I was coming up to the store, and you really are fascinated with the ROI and the impact. I saw some numbers there which you have achieved. It was really fascinating, by the way. Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about the other part which you spoke about, which is leadership. Now, leadership is, how do you ensure that India is not just executing PR, but you also shaping the global agenda? How is a reversely?
Yeah, not that I think you just hint the nail, yeah, because India's strength is execution power.
Right.
And that has been the reason behind, one of the big reason behind the success of the GCC evolution. But the flip side is that if it's only execution, yeah, so people are that more or less following the mandates which are actually given by the headquarter. And I think that needs to be expanded without really creating any impact on the execution rigor. Because execution rigor needs to be maintained. Correct? How do we move on the more ownership, more business thinking, more strategic thinking, where people say, hey, I own this end to end, which means I have to execute, but I have to improve, but I also have to think about the next step. And I have to look at things which are upstream, downstream, look at things end to end basis. And I believe this is like an area which can be developed further, right? And only then it will unlock more and more global roles, responsibilities, probably, yeah.
Okay. And Amit, you also gone through this, entire in the past so many years with this company. So, what has been your biggest learning through this leadership journey, through this transformation journey from ops to innovation? The biggest that you've
Yeah, in this case. So I would say feel empowered.
Right.
Yeah, because we were just talking about this ownership. Yeah, sometimes people are just waiting something to come top down. I always say that your job description is a starting point, Trent. So just like how we were talking about cricket analogy, yeah. So if you look at the pitch is job description. It doesn't mean you just have to defend the ball.
Right.
You have an inner ring, then you have an outer ring. So there's so much of expansion scope, 360-degree. And I think we need to be more courageous. We need to be posed. We need to challenge status quo. We need to expand our horizons. And if you feel empowered, you come up with the proposals, new ideas, you align it with the global setup and make it work. And you don't need to have perfection. I'm a firm believer of excellence over perfection. So excellence means here you give your best, even when you know 60-70% of the information, right? But you keep on iterating. You make a decision, you move on, make adjustment, then again refine it, and that's how I think of. Yeah. So that also means that as a leader, you can be more vulnerable, authentic. You don't need to have answers for everything. Uh, just give your best, learn from everyone, right? And just try to create that momentum with the team, right? Because there's so many experts, diverse experience. So unlock that potential, and that's what I believe here can really help shape the organizations.
Final question, Amit, to you. And since you have bought in cricket again, your favorite sport and mine as well. So like we have to build a team for the next World Cup again. So, what's there on your radar for the next couple of years, whether in terms of technology, talent, market engagement, what's keeping you curious?
Yeah. No, so I don't like to settle with everything. So there's always a next evolution. So the next evolution for us is definitely more at the global scale. That it just doesn't matter, that whether you're based on India or elsewhere, if you're the right person, yeah, you can also play a global role. So how can we get into more globally location agnostic roles? But it's a chicken and egg situation. Do I have the right person? If not, how do I develop that person? But do I have the right opportunity? Because if I don't give this opportunity to people, how will they develop over a period of time? So how do we solve that kind of a puzzle? But the good thing is we have got all the strategic alignment. We have all the initiatives at play, all the development initiatives. And for us, it's creating that scalable impact and the global level. Because the purpose of our organization, I'm also very much driven by that. How do we create resilience in the world? So people who join us, who stay with us, they are very well connected with the purpose, with their growth journey, with the impact potential they can generate. So it all comes together. It's just like our India cricket team, yeah, which is relatively
All the talent is available. We just need to put them in place and give them the right opportunities, and exactly well with us. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, Amit, for joining us. It was wonderful speaking to you, and I hope to see you more on our show. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you very much. Fantastic opportunity and look forward to continued it.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, and stay tuned for more episodes of GCC Unplugged. Thank you.